One teacher who has really inspired me and changed my life is my high school English teacher, Mrs. Parker. I met her as a sophomore in high school and actually accidentally job shadowed her, and then she ended up being my English teacher for the next 2 years, and she really inspired me to be a good English teacher.
One would be Dr. King. She just retired this past year. I'm thankful I was one of her last classes, graduating classes that she got to teach. She taught me a lot. She's very smart. She knows what she's doing. I learned a lot from her, and I feel like she set me up in the right path to be a great educator at the high school level.
My supervisor advisor is Dr. Patricia Lowe. She goes by Trissy. She has been the most supportive person I could have ever asked for. I've gone to her office and have cried multiple times, and she listens and is supportive and offers insight, and I don't think I could do this program without her.
One of my grandparents has a friend who was an elementary school science teacher, and while I never had them personally as a teacher, during the summers they would take us on what we called field trips, and so we would go to all these different places, different libraries, went to a couple of science fairs and things like that, and I really kind of cite those experiences as what made me fall in love with education and more specifically just being able to learn.
I had a teacher in high school, his name was Mr. Schultz, and he was like my U.S. history, like a social studies teacher. He was really cool and he was really fun, but he really taught us to look at history through different lenses, so look at different factors that shape the events that were happening. And I really, really appreciated that outlook at looking at problems like from a more complex perspective and looking at how different factors can shape or change the way things happen.
I don't think I could answer it. I think that throughout going back to elementary school and then into high school and into higher ed, there's been so many teachers along the way that have all shaped and formed me to who I am today. Sometimes you learn most from the professor that you may not necessarily get along with or that might really challenge you, and you learn a lot from that. So I think that it would be very difficult to single out just one, because there's so many little components that I've learned from so many that have built into who I am today.